That does not sound like a player whose team could get the number one seed in the NFC. Are they limping into the playoffs?
Look, they're going to be the number one seed, meaning they get a bye week, right? So they don't have to play 3 games to get to a Super Bowl. So I don't agree that they're limping in, but I agree with what DeVonta Smith is saying. And what I liked about it was he's not bitching about my targets. He's not bitching about how many receptions I'm getting. He's saying collectively, we're not playing good football. And I've been saying it. We've all been saying it for a couple months now, and everyone always poo-poos, oh, you're just a Philly hater, oh, you just don't like the Eagles. True and true. That being said, I'm also accurate, and DeVonta Smith is now putting the words to what I've said, what you guys have all said, and that is we are not playing good football. And even in the last 4 games, obviously they lost 3 in a row. They come back and have the big win this past weekend against the New York Giants. The ranks are in the bottom of the league.
Yeah, and these stats don't lie. Like, I can throw up some stats as well, and I compare this team to, like, the team from last year, the Minnesota Vikings. Like, a lot of us knew that team was fraudulent.
Yeah,
like with their
a lot
record,
of one-score games.
Absolutely, and when you look at this is who the Philadelphia Eagles very reminiscent of. One-score games, 8. The Minnesota Vikings, obviously, they won all of theirs, but 10-plus point wins, 2-2. Like, when you look at this team, you don't have faith that they're going to stop anyone. And even offensively, they have taken a step back from who they were last year. And I think a lot of the credit that we give this team is predicated on the success that they had last year and the fact that they did go into the Super Bowl and they did play great offensively. But at the end of the day, that's not the same team that we're seeing this year.
Yeah.
We're seeing a completely different team. They're showing us who we are. They're limping into the postseason. I don't care if they get a first-round bye. I picked this team to win the Super Bowl. I do not trust this team because they're showing me that they can't consistently get it done on all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, look, it's they're going to be the number one seed. They're not going to lose to the Cardinals. They're not going to lose to the New York Giants. So they're going to win. They're going to be the number one seed. Obviously, San Francisco is the only team with a legitimate shot at upseeding them for that. So we'll let that play itself out. But they haven't been right all year.
Yeah, but I'm struggling just from the standpoint. Didn't Jalen Hurts have 300 yards? Right? Didn't they find their running game in the fourth quarter with DeAndre Smith? Wasn't they able to come out that building with a W? Like, I understand optically they didn't look great, but you won the game. And this is a team who had a players-only meeting right before the Giants game. So this is a team who's very well aware what they are and who they are. But you won the damn game. You say it time after time. It doesn't matter how you win as long as you win. I'm okay with the Eagles having some self-awareness, but don't panic, right? Like, understand there's still hay to be had. You still got to grind it out. You coming off a 3-game losing streak, and you're responding in a positive manner. So I just feel like it's too many people pressing the panic button instead of saying, hey, man, let's just get better.
Look, I think the team that will decide if the Eagles get the number one seed is not the Eagles. It's the L.A. Rams. Because San Francisco ends the season with the L.A. Rams. If they are tied, if the Niners win out and the Eagles win out, then the Niners are the number one seed because they beat the Eagles straight up. The problem for San Francisco is that last game is going to mean something. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to play that game to get the number one seed. Now, we all know they're better than the Rams, but if you go based on hot team at the right time, I don't want the Rams right now because they're playing great football. But San Fran, I just want to be clear, they own it if they win out. If they split, then Philly steals the number one seed.
Moving on to second in football, and we have Week 17 action just tomorrow night. That is between that man, Joe Flacco, and the Browns. They're facing off against the Jets. Remember, Joe Flacco reached out to the Jets earlier this season and wanted to join the team after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He spoke about that in advance of the big matchup on Thursday night. So, Craig, can Willie's guy, Joe Flacco, lead the Browns to a playoff win?
I mean, he can.
Say it with your chest, right?
Not because it's Joe Flacco. Because of that great defense.
What do you mean?
And by the way, let me just,
why are you not putting respect on Joe Flacco's name?
Relax, Tiger, for 1 second, right? Because you and I both sat here and watched what happened last year when Joe Flacco played for the New York Jets. The Jets made the right decision in not returning Joe Flacco's call. Joe Flacco was not welcome back here amongst Jet fans. Joe Flacco was a disaster last year for the New York Jets. So it's easy now, to go back because we've seen him have success with Cleveland and go, oh, another example, the Jets screwed up again. And they do it frequently, obviously. But Joe Flacco was never going to be the answer. Why? Because he can't move.
There you
and
go.
the Jets' offensive line.
He's never been able to move. He's never been a mobile quarterback.
Stop
He's
it.
always been a stoic in the pocket quarterback. Now because he's 38, he can't
Stop
move.
it.
He's never been able to move.
But that's the point. That's why it wouldn't have been a great fit for him to go back to the Jets, because offensive line-wise, they can't protect. They need somebody that can move around. With him being in Cleveland, this is the prime spot.
It's the best
You're
spot.
right. I love what he's been able to do. He's still going to turn the ball over. He's still going to do things like that. But, however, like the offensive line can protect him. He can stand up in the pocket. He can throw over defenders. Like he can make those throws if you protect him. We all know that his savvy, his IQ, his understanding of the game, that all plays a part into why they're being
And by the way, before, I know it's easy just to dump on the Jets. We do it all day around here. I get it. There's 31 other teams that also said no to Joe Flacco in August, in September, in October, and half of November.
And they had their quarterback. First of all, you're talking about mobile quarterbacks. Zach Woods is out with a concussion, right?
Yeah, because of the offensive line.
So to your point, Joe does great because of everything you mentioned is he wins ball games. You talk about the Cleveland Browns, who had 4 quarterbacks win one game from him. And then it was hell in the water. Joe comes, and now they're steady. Now their confidence going into the play.
I gotta stop.
What do you want?
He steadily throws interceptions. That's what he does steadily.
Look,
they're winning.
He's a guaranteed 2 interceptions every time he puts cleats on.
They're going to win a playoff game.
Maybe they will, but you got to slow this roll down because they've got 10 wins.
Sure.
He's got 3 of them.
There you go.
How'd they get the other 7?
Oh, what do you mean?
with the revolving
Okay, they
door
gotta do-
quarterback.
How many
Yeah,
interceptions does
3
he
other
have?
quarterbacks got them 7 wins. They have a great defense. Stop it.
But why are you hating the man that came off the couch, 38 years old, and
I
there's
don't.
no holes
I
in his
think-
game?
look,
So he throws a couple
holes?
I
couple
think
picks here and there.
I think it's a great story. 40-year-old
It is.
guy coming off the couch. He's going to the playoffs. Maybe he wins a playoff game. But don't get it twisted that the Jets effed up
They
in not
did.
getting Joe Flacco.
If you telling me if we would have had Flacco, the Jets would have had Flacco, would the Jets be in the predicament they are this year?
No,
It'd be
Flacco
worse.
would be in the
It'd be
hospital.
worse. Here's what would happen. Here's what would happen. This weekend, we'd be going, oh, that Joe Flacco.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a good man.
Y'all forget he had a comeback win against Cleveland last year as a Jet. Just saying.
Lord, you're funny. But I will say this. When Willie likes a guy, he's on wait for him.
Yes,
And you're
yes.
supporting that guy.
I just don't understand what you don't see.
I respect that.
I see him throwing an interception every quarter. Every
Joe,
quarter. he
You
throws
also
an
see a
interception.
touchdown right after it.
Now,
You know,
Joe
right,
Flacco's
you
in the
know.
conversation for comeback player of the year, but the New York Jets did not make a mistake,
Yes, they did.
nor did the other 30 teams in not getting him. And why don't we do this? Rather than always go down, negative lane, why don't we just enjoy the positivity that Joe Flacco he's getting a second chance at a career, and he's bringing one of the great cities in our country the opportunity to play playoff football.
What do you need
and
to see?
that's great.
What do you need to see?
Let's go,
Love
Cleveland.
Flacco.
I love dwarves. What happened?
I said, what do you need to see to give him his flowers?
I'm giving him his flowers.
It doesn't sound
I'm
like
just not
it.
knocking
Yeah,
the Jets
yeah,
for not
put
signing
him right on top of the
Joe
grave.
Flacco, no joke, he'd be dead.
No, he wouldn't.
He'd be dead behind the Jets' offensive line.
not work. I agree with
We'd
Craig.
be at a funeral.
My
That
point is,
undisputed promo would
the Jets
be
will have
Flacco's
more
funeral.
wins if Flacco was the quarterback. That's
Moving
my
on
point.
to third
We
and
see Skip
football.
and Keyshawn and Michael going, oh, that Joe Flacco should have stayed out of bounds. What are we doing?
Dan Campbell and his Lions have their sights set on the 2 seed in the NFC. How important is it for the Lions to get that 2 seed?
I don't think it's important at all, actually. I don't think this game means a damn thing to the Detroit Lions. I think they probably get housed against the Dallas Cowboys for a lot of reasons, coming off the huge win, first division title since Ariana Grande was born in 1993, obviously, which is a big deal for all of us. Like they're not playing for anything. They're just not. 2 seed, 3 seed, they're in the playoffs. They're hosting a playoff game, and it's not as if we know exactly who the wild card teams are and in what order, where I could tell you, the 2 seed gets you an easier opponent. It might not. So until we know that, I'm not going to tell you that this game means all that much, because I honestly don't think it does. I don't think Philly loses again this year anyway, so I think Dallas is locked into the 5. Obviously, Detroit then gets locked into the 3 if they lose this game, because Philly wins out. Meaning right now,
Say it.
right now,
Say it.
it's a Detroit Ram matchup.
Matt Stafford.
Meaning No, not just
back
Matt
to Detroit.
Stafford.
Jared
You
Goff.
get Jared Goff.
Love it.
Going against his former team, Matt Stafford against his former team, and that'd be a pretty cool matchup.
Yeah, the reality of it is the Detroit Lions have done something that they haven't done in 30 years, which is win a NFC North title or just a title in general.
Yeah. Since Ariana was
so
born.
it's to be celebrated, right? They get to host a playoff game. This place, when they are winning and they are having success, which we've never experienced that really. Yeah. It's one of the toughest places to play. Like, and as a player who played this team twice a year and typically dominated this team, I've had moments.
Oh, okay, throw that in there.
I've had moments.
Good ones or bad ones?
Bad ones.
Bad
against
ones.
this team when they have gotten the best
What's
of us.
this right here?
Oh my goodness.
Aaron Rodgers
This
going
wasn't good.
to Greg Jennings.
This is a low light.
Oh,
Low light.
Kadarius Jennings.
What are you doing?
Look at Harry's face.
Not.
Aaron, I was just as shocked as you. I don't know what happened.
Were you playing patty cake with the ball there?
I don't know.
Kadarius Jennings.
I didn't want to be great.
Is that when the Memorial
I
started?
guess, the obvious question, was online wagering legal back then?
We lost this game, I think 7-3. Like,
That's
it was
a touchdown, Gregor.
Oh my!
Greg.
Tell me about it, Greg. Like
It's not too many of those on your highlight reel.
It's not, but that one was one of the low lights of my career.
Was it the lights?
I have a
No,
question.
it was just a flat out drop. I'm not
All
gonna.
right, so I got a question. What does Aaron Rodgers say to you on the sideline after that?
He didn't even say anything. He was just as shocked as I was.
Nothing?
Nothing.
James Jones say
Nothing
something?
needed to be said.
Donald Driver say
Nothing.
something?
Like more.
Mike
like,
Holmgren say something?
Did you buy him dinner, like I'm a sorry
happened?
dinner, or drinks or something?
What happened?
What-
I think everybody was kind of confused.
It's a-
Like what?
Yeah.
Because
Were you-
it's not like
it kind of looked like you were like, get away from me.
Jesus.
Sorry. Dropped another one.
What happened? So nothing happened? It was just.
it's just a drop.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't get traded in the offseason. And
We didn't win the Super Bowl that year, though.
3 points. You scored 3 points in the whole game.
Here's the best part.
Aaron got hurt.
All these years later, Greg Jennings is a Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer.
There you go.
Woohoo!
There you go.
All right. Coming up, we got the panic button. It's player related and it's team related, and that's a question that everyone's going to be asking until it's decided. Look at that. Another drop. Another drop. Patty cake, Baker's man.
Your reaction time.
Yeah, well, the Greg I used to know what it called that. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.